Hey now, happy vibes, my friends. Welcome back to my podcast, Vibes by Alicia, where I believe in spreading killer vibes that light you up and give you that kick in the ass to craft the life you wish to live. This sacred space is dedicated to the lovers of all things business, travel, and lifestyle. Hey, it's about time you get in the scoop with the latest vibes. So let's get to it. Hey guys, so this is the last episode for season 5. I am super excited to just let everybody know how exciting this is for us because, we started the podcast literally at the beginning of the COVID pandemic, and it's been quite a ride for us because, we started at it was March 2020. And we are at the end of 2021. And so we're going to be reaching the next milestone, which would be 2022. And we'll be 2 years by then and the end of season 5. So at the end of the year, I always like to do like a reflection. I like to do some sort of reflecting on, the things that I've done, the things that I didn't do, all the things that were, the lessons and the things that I'm grateful for and the things that are, I guess, challenges and things that I need to continue learning more about. So as I'm recording this today is November 18th. You're probably not going to hear it until November, the next week. But today is my anniversary, November 18th, 21 years of marriage. To one of the most requested guests, by the way, Mr. Elatassi, my hubby. So this day is just a really special day. I've reflecting again, every time at the end of the year, you're sort of in a reflective mood and like thinking of like all the things that happened throughout the year, and so for 21 years, I'm just super grateful that I've been able to maintain a really beautiful and strong relationship with my husband. We met in college. And so when we met in college, we married 2 years later. So we were pretty young. We were in our mid-20s, had our kids pretty quickly, pretty early. And so for us, making it to this point and just, super grateful for the lessons that we've had. Everybody thinks that, because you've been married a long time, that everything must, go perfectly and according to plan. And that's not the case. I mean, a lot of things, you have to encounter and negotiate and compromise. And just take turns whenever something is going on in our life. But, every time I have a project or every time I have something coming up or something special, he is my number one supporter and always asks, what can I do to help you? What can I do to support you? What can I do to make your project or your goals, attainable. So super grateful for that. Yeah, 21 years. And I love that. It's just like an amazing, amazing time for us. So definitely enjoying that right now. So as I sit here reflecting, I'm reflecting on 2021. It's November, like I said, and December for me is like a very interesting, reflective time of the year. I think it's sort of like a time where I think everybody starts to think of like, what did you accomplish those goals that you set at the beginning of the year? And are you setting new goals? So as I sit here and I reflect on everything, I'm thinking about, my New Year's resolutions. And I think I've accomplished a lot of those. I think, for sure, finishing up season 5 of this labor of love, my podcast, which I'm so grateful that you're listening to. It just makes me so proud that, this commitment that I made to you all, that I made to myself and to my speakers, my guests, and, that we're still sticking to it and we're still here and we're still doing our thing. And super grateful of having the most amazing, guests every single time they come in, they give it their all and just, share their authentic self, which is super cool. This year, I also accomplished, finishing up or not finishing, but like definitely working with the home renovations that I'm doing with my business with my husband. We have been flipping houses for the last year and a half. And at the end of December, we should be closing on our 6th house. So we're super grateful about that. Working with your husband or working with your partner is just, it's a whole other ballgame, a whole other challenge. But I think we've been able to maintain a sense of, I guess, a sense of respect and unity as we approach any work project that we do together. I think for us, definitely just giving each other space. He's an amazing negotiator. He's an amazing businessman. And what I provide for our relationship and our partnership in the business is the creative part. You know, I do all the interior design. I pick out the colors of the houses. I pick out floors. I pick out paint, all that sort of thing. And so he handles a lot of the negotiation on the pricing and like setting it up with the realtors. My other component is also working with the contractors because I speak Spanish. So a lot of our contractors only speak Spanish. And so that's always been a nice, way for both of us to, to approach this and to kind of share our skill sets as we move on. And so next year, we're actually going to continue doing that, but we're going to add multiplexes. We're going to add apartments, and we're also going to be pursuing Airbnb. So check out that when it comes up. I'll definitely be talking more about it in the podcast and tell you guys how all of that is working out. So something that I'm better at now than I was at the beginning of the year. So one thing I definitely learned, and I read this book by Ken Coleman, was the proximity principle. And I think that's one thing that I definitely added to everything that I do is how can I be closer to the people that I admire and I want to learn from. And so in April, I was fortunate enough to find a really beautiful office at She Space, who happens to be my sponsor. And I just loved being around all these amazing, ambitious, driven women who have their offices here. So for me, that was a great way for me to be close to that. So the proximity principle was applied. I added that to my thing. And if you want to read a book, that's definitely something you definitely need to read. I also got closer to people who could be sponsors for my podcast. I also reached out to other people who I don't typically talk to, but I definitely decided that if I was going to pursue more and I was going to do bigger things, that I needed to be around the people that do that kind of thing. So the proximity principle was definitely something I incorporated into my life this year. And I think it has paid dividends. I mean, it's just been an amazing thing for me. And something that I need to just work on. And I think for 2021 is something that I struggle with and I've struggled with for probably the last 20 years is I struggle a lot with imposter syndrome. I feel like, who am I to do this? Who am I to do that? And like, who's going to be listening to my podcast? Who's going to be interested in what I have to say? And I think a lot of that just has to do with, just growing up, not knowing what was out there, not being exposed to a lot of things and just being exposed later on in life and just thinking, okay, yeah, this is something that I definitely can do. I love this. I enjoy this so much. Everything that I get to do in terms of my businesses, my teaching, because I have classes that I teach. And here on the podcast, just speaking to you all is something that but I definitely need to work on that. I need to work on my self-promotion, be more intentional about promoting myself and letting people know about what I do. And so, when you hear me say, hey, share my podcast, it's like really moving me out of my comfort zone. And it's me telling you guys, please share me with everyone. Let everybody know about this podcast. It is really a labor of love because I really do invest a lot of time and effort into it. I research my guests. I make sure that I bring people to you that are authentic, are instructive, are unique. I definitely try very hard to give you all as much information, inspiration, and level up, kick-ass vibes. That's what it's all about. And so we're talking about the end of 2021. And so I'm looking and reflecting on all the things that I did. Super grateful for all the things that I've accomplished. I definitely want to start off with a huge thanks to the guests that I had for this year, starting with Victoria of Victoria Garcia Studios. We did an amazing episode on, building your brand, and also on the MBTI, the Myers-Briggs personality test. So we did that one. So thank you to her. Thank you to Valerie Carmona of Val Around Town. We did a really cool episode talking about the Latino fashions versus the American fashion and the red carpet. So that was super fun. I want to say thank you to DJ Gracie Chavez of Bon Bon Radio. Her session with me was super fun and super cool. And we talked about her being one of the few females in a category with a ton of men. And so she's an amazing DJ. And so y'all need to look out for DJ Gracie Chavez. I also had Carla Bisong of Bisong Art Gallery. She's the owner of a really beautiful, gorgeous art gallery that also hosts events and also hosts parties. And so if you ever need to go in there, look for the Bisong Art Gallery. It's downtown. It's super, super amazing. I want to say thank you to Stephanie Suru of She Space. She became not just a mentor for me, but also a sponsor and somebody that I go to whenever I have any questions or I'm feeling a little doubtful about anything. I think one thing that I discovered about Stephanie, which I'm really grateful for, is that she's really good at guiding and advising and making sure that, her tenants here, because she owns the She Space, are happy and are thriving and are, reaching their goals as much as, she wants us to reach our goals. So Stephanie was a really fabulous and amazing leader here in my podcast. I want to say thank you to Mr. Leonardo Velasquez, a master puppeteer. With him, it was an episode in June that we did about Father's Day, and the idea of also pride, because his daughter is gay, and so he talked about that coming out story for him and how it impacted him and his relationship with his daughter. So it's a really beautiful story, and I hope you all can listen to that and go back and listen to it. It's a season 4 episode 4, and so it's a really beautiful episode that I think you all will enjoy very much. The designer diva, Michelle Puckett, she's got the most amazing and beautiful and biggest resale store in Texas. It's 24,000 square feet of showroom. It's in Spring Branch. So when we do Texas size, Michelle does Texas size for sure. And so she's a designer diva. And I get a lot of my resale pieces from her. I love going to her and just getting things that are unique, that are resale, and also reusing. I'm a big proponent of recycled clothing. I'm a big proponent of thrifting. So definitely thank you to Michelle for introducing me to her space and introducing you all to her space. So she's a designer diva. Michelle Puckett. Abby Liu, a powerhouse fitness enthusiast, and she came in and we talked a little bit about body image. We talked about fitness. We talked about the idea that can you ever be too skinny? Can you ever be too beautiful? Can you ever, is it ever enough in terms of fitness? So we had a really beautiful, vulnerable conversation, and she gave us her heart and soul into this conversation. So definitely check out that one. If you have a young lady in your life and you're worried about, how she sees herself and her self-image, that's a really good episode to share with her. Definitely a great one. I had my friend Jackie Gill come in and just be really a really beautiful ear for me, because we talked about the sandwich generation and how both of us are sandwich generations. We take care of our parents, we take care of our kids. So we're literally in the middle. We're the middle part of the generations. And so, we talked a little bit about the challenges in being a sandwich generation, how we can experience caregiver burnout. We talked about depression and guilt, and then isolation, and sometimes how we don't feel like we're good enough. We're not doing enough for our parents. We're not doing enough for our kids, always feeling like we're not good enough and not giving our best selves. And so one thing that we also mention in that is self-care for ourselves. As we are always taking care of others, we always need to kind of keep it in mind that we need to think about ourselves as well. So Jackie Gill for that one. It's episode 12, a love letter to my sandwich generation. This is season 4.
Vibes by Alicia Season 5 is sponsored by SNR Creative. Are you putting your money towards visibility but not seeing any change or business growth? Well, that is the problem. SNR Creative is a boutique marketing and business development firm in Houston that specializes in turning your ideas into reality in the most creative way possible. From social media management to website development, graphic design to event management, this full-service creative team does it all. The world can't go on without your services, so let's make sure everybody knows your name. You're either fascinating or forgotten. What will you choose? Get ahead and above the competition by contacting SNR Creative with the link in my bio. Mention Vibes by Alicia and receive a free business consultation. Vibes by Alicia Season 5 is sponsored by She Space. Hey, you! Yes, you! Badass hardworking boss. If you're tired of cliche spaces, of the regular and unimpressive, you want to add a little bit of spice to the shared co working experience, I have just the place. She Space is the hub for bold women. It's the queen's throne away from home. I firmly believe in the proximity principle, which refers to the intention of surrounding yourself with the people who embody your ambitions to achieve them. Find that proximity and experience the dream job life here at She Space. With membership, you'll have access to a multitude of amenities, a robust calendar of events, and overall a group of like minded women. So, what are you waiting for? Come and see us at She Space. Vibes by Alicia Season 5 is sponsored by Finest Blood. Finest Blood provides patients and partners in clinics with service at its finest. Avoid mixed diagnosis in unprecedented times and commit to laboratory services in the finest way. Whether you are participating in mobile or in lab services, we will provide you with the finest care and make sure your satisfaction is met. No more waiting long hours in clinics. No more waiting long hours for results. No more leaving the comfort of your own home, if that's what you choose. At Finest Blood, our system is designed to alleviate the challenges of accessibility and timeliness of lab work while providing exceptional customer care. We provide you with the best care in anything that we do. Come and see us or follow us at finestbloodllc.com.
Next person that I want to just talk about, and this is somebody that I think this is for my season 5, is my plastic surgeon, Dr. Christy Hustag. She talked to us about beauty ideals and how people feel ashamed, people feel like they don't have a lot of support. Sometimes women don't have a lot of support on like when they want to do plastic surgery for themselves or when they want to try something new. A lot of us are moms, so we always think of the mommy makeover and how it's just something that you shouldn't feel shame. You shouldn't feel bad about. It's okay for you to want to be better, improve yourself. And if that means to go to a doctor. And so she's the most amazing doctor. She's a mother, she's a woman, and she's amazing. And she's talking to us in this episode about, the things that you should definitely be asking your doctor so that you know that you're getting the best care in terms of your doctors. So the next person I want to thank is another guest, and I love this woman because she is a powerhouse and a fabulous marketing expert, Shavana Roberts-Schreiber of SNR Creative. She came in and gave us just the most amazing tips and the most wonderful nuggets of information on how you can promote yourself through podcasting as a marketing tool. Use it as opportunity for your business, for your tribe, for your whatever it is that you're doing, anything that you're promoting, any projects that you have, and using podcast as an excellent venue to, push whatever is your message and your vision and push it forward. And she's just an amazing woman. And she's also one of our sponsors. So definitely check out SNR Creative. And if you mention Vibes by Alicia, you will get a free consultation from them. They do websites. They do a lot of marketing for small business, smart, big business, everything you can possibly think of. They are doing it all. And they're pretty damn good at it. Pretty amazing. Love them. Next person I want to thank is another podcaster friend of mine that just came in and just helped me unbox a toxic relationship. My friend, Angelica Casares, she also has a podcast. It's not If Not You, Then Who podcast. And we talked about the Gabby Petito case and why it affected me and why it triggered for me a conversation that I wanted to have with you all about toxic relationships. And in talking with a social worker, I mentioned to her that it wasn't domestic violence. And she said, it is domestic violence because you were tortured, mentally and emotionally, even though you were not abused physically. And so that was a really good opening and an interesting conversation that we had and that Angelica came in for. And we had a really wonderful way of unboxing those feelings, unboxing those emotions that I had when I was 16, between 16 and 21, and living a very toxic relationship that I think a lot of people just want to put behind them. And I think for me, this whole Gabby Petito case that was in the news just brought about a lot of emotions and a lot of things that I thought I had processed already. And so that episode was just an amazing episode. And so it's episode 4, season 5. Season 5. I believe it's season 5 or season 4. Anyways, so it is in the Vibes by Alicia podcast. If you're on Apple or Spotify or Pandora, Amazon, we're everywhere. So that's a really great, very vulnerable, very raw episode unboxing a toxic relationship. Next person I want to thank is Janine Dorsey, and I met Janine through Shavana, and she's an amazing woman that decided to open her business. And she has a mobile laboratory that comes to your house, and they'll do all kinds of tests, like urine tests for work, or blood work, COVID test if you're going out of town. They do it mobile, and they come to your home. And she was able to come to my mom's house a few weeks ago, and she did a blood test, a few blood work for my mother, who just does not like going into a laboratory. She hates it. So this was a really good way for her to also get blood work done at home without feeling the torture of going to a place, and she doesn't like it. And so Janine is just amazing. She just handles the whole thing from the process, from the beginning to the end. And I love that she has a really wonderful touch. She takes her time, getting to know her clients and making them comfortable. And so I love that about her, Janine Dorsey. And also one of our sponsors of the podcast, Finest Blood LLC. So look out for them. I want to thank my friends Daisy Ayala and Thomas Mosnes. They were both on my conversation about communication between the sexes. My husband Rusk was on that one too. And so we talked a little bit about communication and how it's so difficult between singles to communicate, the texting, the disconnect, the calls, the emails, what should you do in terms of relationships, dating, friendships, business communication. It's a super fun. It was a 2-part episode, super fun, lively, just super, super cool. And those two just did not stop giving us their advice and giving us their point of view. And I love it. And Daisy's also has a podcast, and she's also a founder of our group, the Texas Podcaster Gals. Life is full of Daisy. So go out and check her out and follow her podcast as well. She's pretty amazing. I love her so much. The next person I want to thank, it's another one of my fashionistas, is Susan Gomez from Tsugo Petit. So Susan Gomez started a wonderful fashion line from the need of doing sustainable fashion, and super concerned about fashion pollution and super concerned about the environment. So she works in the garment industry, and she designs for petite women, which is a lot of the things that we have difficulty with. It's just finding amazing clothing, and she does such a good job at that. Very classic, very feminine, super simple, but yet impactful. And so find Susan Gomez. Her episode is called Saving the Planet, One Petite Dress at a Time, with Susan Gomez. And so you can also follow her on Instagram at Tsugo Petit. The next person I want to thank is my doctor, my gynecologist, Dr. Daisy Ayim. She came in and we talked about fertility. A lot of young women have concerns about their fertility. They want to know, how do they preserve it? How do they make sure that it's at the highest levels, at the highest standards for themselves? What can they do to just maintain super healthy bodies, healthy minds? And so we had a really wonderful, beautiful conversation. It was super educational, and I learned a lot from that. And so Dr. Daisy Ayim is fantastic, a fabulous woman. And you can follow her at Daisy Ayim, at Dr. Daisy Ayim on Instagram, and also at her website. You can follow her, and you can also get 10% off a microneedling Morphus 8. So definitely, when you reach out to her, let her know that you found her through my podcast, Vibes by Alicia. Next person I want to thank is my new friend, Rhonda Nelson. She's a marketer extraordinaire. We had a conversation on partnerships versus relationships. Definitely a great conversation because we delved into why so many people don't see um, the strengths or the benefits of really going forward towards a partnership with another person and just setting up, boundaries and setting up expectations and being very strategic in terms of your partnerships and not making them so emotional. So that one is integrity over emotions and developing things that are not superficial, developing relationships that are intentional. We talked about power couples and, what makes a power couple and what creates the power structure in a couple. So those things are super amazing. And I just love learning and just giving you all some of those things that I think are just going to make you think a little bit more about a topic, maybe go into it a little bit different. The goal for the podcast is just to give you that kick in the ass to craft the life you wish to live. So that kick in the ass is the information and learning and the inspiration. And I definitely want to know what more you want to hear from me. I want to talk about topics that are important to you, interesting to you. I definitely appreciate you all being super, interactive with me. If you follow me at Vice by Alicia on Instagram. I also have Vice by Alicia on Facebook. I may have a TikTok coming for the new year if I can find somebody who could do it for me because I don't know how to do TikTok. I'm 46 years old. I don't know if I know very much about all of that. But anyway, I will definitely learn because I think it's important for everybody to get to know that. And I want to just say that, this podcast has been growing steadily, and I appreciate that so much. So please tell everybody that you know about the podcast. Let everybody know that we're here, that we're, doing our thing. We're succeeding. I would love to make this podcast one of the top 10 most listened to podcasts by a Latina, by a woman in the United States. Definitely, pursuing that and looking forward to your reviews. So if you haven't posted a review, I would definitely appreciate a review. Please, please, please post those 5-star reviews for me. I know, a little plug, but definitely please go in there and help me out with that. It really helps in sharing the downloads with your friends and letting them know, hey, you need to listen to this episode. This is a great episode for you. It really helps, in terms of that. And definitely I'm looking for sponsors. If you know somebody who might be interested in advertising in a podcast, using this venue, this platform, a newfangled way of telling people who you are and what you do. I mean, people live on their phone and they live on audio. So it's a really great opportunity to jump in. I have a media kit that I can send you if you're interested. You can always email me at aliciaelatassi@gmail.com if you want that. If you need more information on that, definitely follow me. I have a YouTube account too, so follow there. And so I just want to continue bringing you all amazing guests, bring you better topics, and just overall kick-ass vibes. 2022 is going to be about up-leveling and getting this podcast to the next level, to the next section, the next kick-ass world and platform. Whatever it is that we need to do to get to the next place is what we are going to be doing here at this podcast, Vibes by Alicia. So I am super excited about everything that's coming up. I'm super excited about 2022. There is nothing better than being here with you, sharing what we've got, sharing what we know, sharing all the information, sharing my guests with you. Nothing makes me happier. Nothing makes me more excited about 2022 than being here online, on audio with you all and just enjoying the fruits of everything that we've put in, all the seeds that we've planted and sowing it and harvesting and making sure that everything that we're doing is intentional, it's strategic, and it just helps in some way or another. So definitely super thankful for you all. November is Thanksgiving. And so for Thanksgiving, I'm giving thanks to you all, giving thanks to my sponsors, SNR Creative, giving thanks to my sponsor, Finest Blood, She Space. Definitely look out for them. Please reach out to them and follow them on their socials. You will definitely be a better person for that because they are doing things that are just amazing and wonderful. And if anything that you will get from my podcast is that we don't do basic here, we do kick ass here. So I love you all. Thank you so much for just being here and being a part of this journey. Watch out for season 6. It comes January, the first week of January. We are doing season 6. We are going to be incorporating more video. We're going to be incorporating a little bit more of PR. We're going to be doing different marketing. So, one thing you will get from me is you're going to get the best possible experience you can get. Everything we do here is strategic, intentional, and with the hopes that it's serving you in one way or another. So let me know what topics you want to hear. Again, business, lifestyle, and travel, whatever, that is. And then also if you have any other things you want to touch upon. I am super grateful for you all and ready to just, kick that 2022 to the next gear. And I hope that it takes you to the next level and whatever I can do for you. Also, I'll be posting a few online courses that I'll be doing in terms of podcasting and business and lifestyle. So I'll definitely be posting some of those. And I will have those linked on the descriptions for the podcast as well. So check that out. And I can't wait to hear from you. Love you all and go out and kick ass. Love you.